Happy Valentine's Day to the Zay It Again family, man. I hope everybody enjoys their day with their significant other, and I just hope it's a great day for everybody. I am currently out of town right now with mine, so if you hear background noise, she getting ready right now. We supposed to leave at 9:30, but y'all know how that go. So it's been a long time coming, man, but we finally back, man, and we gonna get back on that weekly schedule, man. But we got a lot to recap in today's episode, man. I'm gonna give it to y'all raw and uncut. We're just gonna go straight from here, no cuts. We're gonna go from the college football playoffs to the NFL playoffs, and then finally we're gonna get to the NBA trade deadline, man. I just want to say thank you for listening to my podcast today, and I hope it's a great day for everybody listening. And let's go ahead and jump into these topics today. So first, we're gonna talk about college football and the ending of the playoffs and how those games look, man. In the first game of the college football semis, we're gonna talk about is Texas versus Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. Now, me, like I said last episode, if y'all remember, I picked Ohio State to win. You know, it wasn't gonna be. I thought it wasn't gonna be close, but it was closer than I thought it was, man. And Ohio State, they ended up getting the job done, 28-14. The game started off pretty fast for Ohio State. They got a turnover on downs, and then they put together a nice and dominant 5-minute drive leading into a touchdown. So I thought it was going to be over pretty quickly, but the game was pretty much a battle of good defenses because Texas didn't score until almost a minute left in the second quarter to tie up the game 7-7. But when it looked like Texas had gained a little bit of momentum, Ohio State's Trayvon Henderson, he took a screen 75 yards to the house with 30 seconds left on the clock in the first half. His speed and patience on that run was insane, and he gave Ohio State the 14-7 edge to close out the first half. The second half started off pretty slow as well. Texas tied the game up with 3 minutes left in the third quarter with a nice touchdown from Quinn Jaden Blue. But Ohio State, they managed to persevere, and they managed to score another touchdown of their own to take the lead with 7 minutes left in the fourth. And then this is where the controversy started for Texas. Texas was on the game-winning drive, and not game-winning, game-tying. And they managed to get the ball down to the 1-yard line. On first down, they ran the ball for no gain. On second down, they ran a shotgun halfback toss and managed to lose 7 yards. So now for third down, they're on their 8-yard line. They ran a pass play, and it was incomplete. And then with the game on the line, the last play, fourth down to tie up the game and possibly send it to OT, Quinn Ewers, he drops back, man, and Ohio State's Jack Sawyer, he forces a strip sack and returns the fumble for a touchdown. It was like a 90-something yard touchdown, man. That was crazy. So the score was 28-14, and of course the game was just over at that point, and that took Ohio State to the national championship. To me, Ohio State had more receivers than Texas could handle, and Will Howard also played a good game. Texas managed to take Jemiah Smith out the game almost completely, but with a receiving room that deep, it's always going to be hard to beat a team. It was a pretty good and solid game all around. I enjoyed watching it, but in the end, I feel like Sark got out coached, and he lost Texas that game, man. You don't get down to the 1-yard line and run a halfback toss and lose 8 yards. So I feel like Sark lost them that game, man. They'll be all right, though, man. Texas got their NIL money. They'll be back for sure. So for the second game of the semifinals, we got Notre Dame versus Penn State in the Capital One Orange Bowl. The Fighting Irish, man, they showed a lot of heart, and they pushed through to be able to take down the Nittany Lions in a game that came down to the wire. These teams basically kept switching the lead until eventually the Fighting Irish was able to kick the game-winning field goal and advance to the national championship. This game, to me, was really just two subpar QBs with, a good running game taking their team down the field. One thing I took from this game was that Notre Dame's Jaden Greathouse, his 54-yard touchdown while Notre Dame was down 17-24 to tie up the ball game, man, that catch and run that he had was amazing. He ran a go route. It looked like he broke down on the corner. He made the corner fall. He caught the ball, and then he juked the safety to take it all the way to the house. Now, that tied up the game at 24-24, and then Drew Allen and Penn State ended up getting the ball back with like a little bit of time left, and Drew Aller threw it. Let me get that. If you don't know what that is, man, that's what we call a pick on this side of the line, man. So with the game on the line, Notre Dame was able to chew the rest of the clock, drive the ball down a little bit, and then just kick the game-winning field goal to win 27-24. And now, sadly, y'all, man, we got to talk about the last game of the college football season, man. It's been a long, great season, man, but it's coming to an end, man. It's time to talk about that national championship. We got Ohio State versus Notre Dame, Ryan Day versus Marcus Freeman, man. Two coaches looking to bring home that natty and just officially stamp their names in a college football coach book, man. Now, originally coming into this game, of course, I had Ohio State dominating, and I was correct, man. The Buckeyes beat the Fighting Irish 34-23 to bring home their first national championship since 2014, and the score looks close, but it was really way worse than it was. The Notre Dame, they managed to take an early lead, man, of 7-0 with a crazy 10-minute first drive. They got the ball and they had a 10-minute first drive and they ended up scoring. So in my head, I'm like, oh, this might get kind of scary because if you can control possession like that and get points out of it, there's no way you lose. But man, Ohio State and Quishon Judkins, man, they came out rolling. Judkins scored 3 touchdowns, man, to help Ohio State take a 31-7 lead. Yeah, Ohio State, they scored 31 unanswered. And Jaden Greathouse again, man, he's making his name known. He scored 1 touchdown in the third to make the game 31-15. And then on another Notre Dame drive with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, he scored another 50-yard touchdown. No, not 50. I apologize. It was 30-yard touchdown to make the score 31-23 and actually give Notre Dame a shot to win the game. Both of his touchdowns were 30-plus yards, and they were impressive catches and runs, man. I feel like he'll make a lot of noise next year if he transfers and get into a true passing offense. You know, you're not really going to shine as a receiver at Notre Dame. But Notre Dame, man, just when it looks like they finally had a little bit of hope, it was 31-23 at this point. Their defense actually got Ohio State to a 3rd and long in a 2-minute drill situation. So Ohio State, man, they were on their own 34-yard line. It's 3rd and like 11, I believe. And Notre Dame, they come out in press man coverage on Jeremiah Smith. Man, Will Howard called Hood. Jeremiah Smith was 10 yards past his man. He burnt him for a 56-yard completion, which helped Ohio State get in field goal range and just be able to close out the game and become your 2025 national champions. It was a good college football season, man. I'm mad I started this podcast towards the end of the year. We missed a lot of games to talk about, but next year is definitely gonna be amazing. I can't wait for it. Now, after talking about the college, man, playoffs, we're going to go ahead and recap the entire NFL playoffs. Yes, the entire NFL playoffs. You know, they finally came to an end, man. And I'm just going to give y'all my picks, and we're going to talk about each and every game. So you better buckle in. I told y'all it's going to be a long episode. So we're going to talk about one conference at a time until we get to the Super Bowl so that it's not confusing for anybody. So the first conference that we're going to talk about is the AFC wild card. We got the Chargers versus the Texans as the first game in. Now, coming into this game, I thought the Chargers were going to dominate the Texans, but boy, was I wrong. Justin Herbert in the playoffs might be the worst quarterback I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. Seriously. I just can't believe it, man. He got picked off 4 times. 4 times. Keep in mind, he threw 3 picks the whole season. And I'm a little bit upset about this because I did bet on this game. My baby Valentine's Day present was on this. He lost my girl her Valentine's Day present. But, man, that's just the story of that game. Herbert played terrible. Houston defense, they showed up and they showed out. That Chargers offense couldn't do anything. Justin Herbert couldn't do anything. So, Houston, man, they blew them out. They advanced to the divisional with a 32-12 victory. Next wild card game we're going to talk about, on this side of things, man, we're gonna have the Steelers versus the Ravens, a divisional playoff game where the Steelers just could not do anything to stop Derrick Henry. Thought this game was gonna be a little bit closer because same division, play each other tough. But man, Henry just went out there and had himself a day, man. He had 26 carries for 186 yards and 2 TDs. And the Ravens, they just coasted by the Steelers. Man, they won the game 28-14. But the Steelers, I mean, Russell Wilson, he had a fairly decent game. He didn't just play the worst. But it is also very hard to win when you don't have a rushing attack. Najee Harris, man, he only had 17 yards. And I feel like, man, if you going to show up and do that, you're not going to be able to win the game. And the Ravens defense, man, they just picked it up. They were looking all right. Not the best, but they were looking all right, man. So they just contained the Steelers, and they were just able to easily win that game. In the last wild card game for the AFC that we're going to talk about is going to be the Denver Broncos versus the Buffalo Bills. Now, I think probably 100% of America had the Bills winning this game. On the first drive of the game, Bo Nix, he had delivered a beautiful 43-yard bomb to Troy Franklin to take a commanding 7-0 lead. And I thought it was about to get scary for the Bills. I'm not going to lie, because the way that looked, it was like, uh-oh. But, of course, Josh Allen and James Cook, they came out rolling, man, just like that Ohio State Notre Dame game. The Bills, they scored 31 unanswered to beat the Broncos 31-7. So we don't even have to talk about that, man. It was a blowout. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the AFC divisional round. First game we got, man, is the Chiefs versus the Texans. Not going to lie, I really thought that the Texans could pull this one off because they always play the Chiefs hard no matter what, if it's regular season playoffs. So I did have the Texans winning this one. But the Chiefs, of course, they ended up getting it done 23-14. Now, going into the fourth quarter, the Texans, they trailed 12-13. And their defense was putting up a fight, man. But that offense, they just couldn't get going at all. They just couldn't capitalize on the mistakes that the Chiefs were making. It was 23-12, and then Mahomes and Kelsey, they ended up putting up 10 unanswered points to give the Chiefs an 11-point lead late into the game. And like I said, man, the Texans, they couldn't move the ball. Stroud, Mixon, and Nico, they all played good and had all right games, but if you can't capitalize on important drives, you're not going to beat the Chiefs, man. The main thing about them is capitalizing on their mistakes. If they make a mistake, you have to go get points. And the Texans didn't do a good job of that, so that's why they lost this game. Now, the biggest game of the playoffs for me was the Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round. Of course, I don't even got to say who I was rocking with. Y'all know who I wanted to win. Lamar. I don't care what. I don't care if Lamar playing. Nah, I ain't going to say that. But I wanted Lamar to win. And, of course, the Ravens lost, which we all know at this point. Now, Lamar, he did have an early interception and a fumble turnover, which put the Ravens behind in the game a little bit. But his supporting cast didn't help much at all either. Josh Allen played a decent game, but the only reason they won is just because he didn't have any turnovers. And, that helped them beat the Ravens. Now, Lamar's 2 turnovers, they both occurred in the first half, and this led to the Ravens ending their first half down 21-10. But in the third quarter, they managed to get a field goal to make the score 21-13, and then they scored again to make the game 21-19. And of course, a season-long trend for the Ravens, man, they ended up not getting a 2-point conversion. So the Bills come back down, man. They kick a field goal to increase the lead to 24-19. And as the Ravens were driving down the field to possibly score and take the lead, Mark Andrews caught a pass, was trying to juke everybody, and ended up fumbling to put the Bills in great field position, which allowed them to kick another field goal and increase the lead to 27-19. So this is about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Ravens down 27-19, man. And Lamar Jackson, he just puts on a clinic that last drive. He shows you how to get it done and how to be clutch. So, man, Lamar, he led the Ravens to a game-time touchdown. and all they needed was the 2-point conversion to possibly send the game to OT, man. The play call was perfect. Harbaugh drew up the 2-point conversion play perfectly. It was like a little pick, flat route. Man, Lamar rolled out right. Mark Andrews is basically in the end zone. Lamar throws the ball. It hit Mark Andrews in his hands. It hit Mark Andrews in his hands, y'all. And he dropped the 2-point conversion to win the game. And the Bills took home the dub 25-27. Man, if my Valentines wasn't right here right now, man, I would have some things to say about Mark Andrews. But we're gonna keep it classy today. This right here, it probably had to be the most disappointing loss of Lamar's career. Because them turnovers, they happen. He bounced back from them. He played a good game. And they just still couldn't get it done. But congratulations to Josh Allen and the Bills, I guess. Now it's time for the conference championship. The long-awaited, quote-unquote, rematch of the Bills versus the Chiefs. Even though Josh Allen has never beat the Chiefs in a playoff game. So this game was basically just two juggernauts swinging at each other back and forth. Two good offensive performances from both QBs. But the biggest factor in this game was that one QB has the clutch gene and one doesn't. Both teams were scoring back and forth, and it looked like the game was going the Bills' way. They scored a touchdown to make the score 22-21, and then they forced a punt on defense. And the Bills' offense got the ball back up 22-21, and this was Josh Allen's opportunity to put the game out of Kansas City's reach. But of course, Josh Allen could not get the job done, and they ended up turning the ball over on downs, which then led the Chiefs to go score and get the 2-point conversion to make the game 29-22. Now the Bills went down and scored, and they tied up the game 29-29 with about 6 minutes left in the game. And in a 3-minute drive, man, the Chiefs and Mahomes, they managed to put up a field goal to make the score 32-29 with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left on the clock. Now, I feel like this right here was Josh Allen's moment to go and beat the so-called king. But, of course, the Bills, they ended up turning the ball over on downs. So, Josh Allen and the Bills, man, they ended up losing that game 32-29. But I feel like Spags, he drew up a very good defensive blitz scheme for Josh Allen on that last drive. He showed him something he didn't see the whole game. I'm sorry. He showed him something he didn't see the whole game, man. He confused Josh Allen. And once again, the Chiefs are your AFC champions, and they are headed to the Super Bowl looking for a three-peat. Now that we're done talking about the AFC side of things, man, we're going to go ahead and look at the NFC side. So the first wild card game we're going to talk about is my Packers losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I really wanted the Packers to win, of course. But I know we stood no chance, man. I've been saying it all podcasts. The Eagles are just clear-cut the best team I've seen in forever. That Eagles defense was just too much for Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs, man. We only put up 10 points in the loss. But as a Packers fan, I'm not really just upset at this loss because the Eagles, to me, that's not a team you get mad that you lose to, man. That team is just built to win. Their rush defense combined with that pass rush, man, it makes them very hard to beat. Jordan Love, he had a terrible game with 3 picks. But, it's hard when you're missing certain guys on offense and defense. It's going to be hard to win, of course. And then Saquon, he had an impressive game, man, with 119 yards on 25 carries. And this just let the Eagles control possession, especially with the turnovers that they forced. The Eagles win this game 22-10. I just also want to point out this is the lowest amount of points they scored in the playoffs against my Packers. So, that Packers defense is for real. But the Eagles win this game 22-10 as they advance to the divisional. The next game we're going to talk about, man, is the Commanders versus the Buccaneers, as Jaden Daniels has an impressive playoff debut, man. Y'all already know I'm on the Daniels hype train. I don't care F what y'all got to say, man, but I had the Commanders winning this game. I'm always going to rock with Jaden Daniels, man. I love that kid. It was a great game, man, but in the end, a couple fourth down turnovers, a couple fumbles, man. It just helped Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn win this game, man. They ended up winning the game 23-20, man. Jaden, he had 268 yards with 2 touchdowns, along with 36 rushing yards. But, his clutchness doesn't just show up on the stat sheet. Down 13-17, man. The Commanders turned the ball over on downs in the red zone. So the Bucs get the ball back. But Bucky Irvin, man, he ended up fumbling, which has been a problem for him all season, and giving the ball right back. And Jaden Daniels, he managed to score to take the lead 20-17. The Bucs went down and they scored a field goal to tie up the game at 20 with 4 minutes left. And, man, the Commanders, they were able to chew out that entire clock and just kick the game-winning field goal. And the Commanders, they advanced to the divisional. The last wild card game was a massacre as the Rams took on the Minnesota Vikings. This was very disappointing for Minnesota considering the regular season success that they had. And it was just even more disappointing for Sam Darnold, man. He was looking at a big contract. Minnesota thought they found their guy, but, man, he put up, in week 18, he put up a terrible performance. And in the playoffs, he put up an even worse performance, man. I thought the Vikings were going to bounce back and win this game since they lost to the Lions the previous week. But, man, they got destroyed 27-9. Darnold, he threw a pick, man, and he was sacked 9 times. So I really can't blame him, but, man, it got ugly quick. The Vikings couldn't throw the ball at all. Meanwhile, Stafford and his receiving corps, they was clicking, man. I'm talking about clicking. Now, the Rams, they upset the Vikings, and they also upset my parlay to advance to the divisional. So now that all that's done, man, we're going to go ahead and look at the divisional round on the NFC side. And the first game I'm going to talk about, man, we got them Lions versus the Commanders. I had the Commanders in this game because how long have I been telling y'all that the Lions are not Nathaniel, man? They don't have nothing. I told y'all this whole season, man. They are very overrated and overhyped, and they showed me why I was correct. This is why I got a podcast, because I'm smart. Now, Daniels had a good game, but, man, that Commanders defense, they showed up. They showed up today. Man, they ended up forcing Jared Goff to have 3 interceptions, which led them to the win, man. But that Commanders offense as well, man, they was clicking on all cylinders. They couldn't be stopped out there. Jaden Daniels' ability to run the ball no matter what's going on, he can escape pressure. He can create plays outside the pocket. If you a step late, man, he's running past you, man. Now, it was a lot of controversy because Ben Johnson, he ended up taking the Bears head coaching job. So everybody was saying, man, was he really focused? Was he worried about the Lions? And I believe he was. I think they just lost the game. That's all it was, man. Them Commanders, they went out there, they punched him in the mouth. They called him slipping, and that's just how the game goes, man. In the playoffs, everybody record 0-0. That regular season don't matter. That record 0-0. You just like everybody else, man. So the Commanders, they advanced to the NFC Championship for the first time in forever. And the last divisional game that we're going to talk about, man, is the Eagles versus the Rams. All I got to say is Shayshawn Barkley. Shayshawn Barkley, man. He had himself a day. He led the Eagles to a 28-22 victory, man. He had 205 yards and 2 tubs, man. Even though Saquon set the tone early with a 70-yard touchdown, the Rams, they managed to keep the game close. A lot of people do think that the snow saved the Eagles, but I think they were going to win this game regardless, man. The Rams, they ended up with a 2-minute drill, and Matthew Stafford completed a deep pass to put them in the red zone, or right outside the red zone, to Puka. And I was like, the Rams might actually win this game. But, man, after that play call, Jalen Carter, he got 2 sacks, and then he forced a QB pressure, leading the Rams to 4th down, of course. And the Eagles, they ended up getting a stop on the Rams on that 4th down, and they won the game, man. Jalen Carter, that what he did on that last drive was impressive. From the D tackle position, it was impressive, man. He won the Eagles that game, seriously. Now we're gonna go ahead and look at the NFC Championship. NFC East showdown, man. We got the amazing rookie versus the seasoned Eagles. And, man, I had the Eagles winning this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders won. But I had the Eagles, man. That Eagles team is just too for real. The Eagles defense and special teams turnovers caused them to easily dominate this game. Now, Daniels and the Commanders, they were putting up a fight in the first half. They were only down 12 to 14 at a point. But after that Commanders touchdown to make the game 12 to 14, the next time the offense came onto the field, it was 27 to 12. Philly, they scored on their next drive, making it 21 to 12. And then they got a special teams turnover, which led to them scoring again. And pretty much the story of this game is Philadelphia has the best defense I've seen in forever. This is the lowest amount of points the Commanders have put up in I don't know how long, man. But that defensive performance, man, it just led to them beating the Commanders 55-23. You know, Jaden Daniels, he's going to have a promising career. So, there's nothing to worry about, man. But last but not least, we have finally made it to the most important part of the NFL playoffs, the Super Bowl. We got the repeat of the first Super Bowl win for Mahomes as he's chasing the three-peat. Not his first Super Bowl win, the first win of the three-peat. And then we got Hurts and Philly, man. They looking for their revenge, man. So we got Kansas City versus the Eagles in New Orleans. And of course, you know, I'm going for Philly because everybody knows I can't stand Mahomes. And I'm a Bama fan, so of course I wanted to see Hurts and Devontae Smith succeed. And succeed they did, boy. The Eagles, man, they annihilated the Chiefs 40-22. But the score does not tell the whole story. It was 34-0 up until 30 seconds left in the third quarter, man. This is the worst game I ever seen Mahomes play. And that's thanks to the Eagles D-line, man. Up until the end of the third quarter, I believe Mahomes had like 2 picks with like an 11 QBR. He was playing terrible. But that Eagles D-line, man, they made him super uncomfortable. Sweat, he had himself a day, man, with 2.5 sacks and a couple QB pressures, man. And Mahomes just was on edge all game. He was missing his throws. He was off beat. He was making passes you never seen him make, man. And once again, man, Philly's defense forcing turnovers won them this game. Mahomes ended up throwing Cooper DeJean a pick 6 on his birthday, which was pretty cool to see. But that was crazy. Nobody expected that. But that, man, the Chiefs, the offense, they were so stagnant, man. It wasn't good for them at all. But the Chiefs' defensive game plan, man, I guess they were going to make Hurts beat them. So their game plan was to stop Saquon, which they did. The first team to do it in forever. But, man, Hurts killed them this entire game, man. He didn't miss a step. The only bad play was the pass he forced in the second quarter. He should just threw it out of bounds to get points. That was a pick. But that was pretty much it, man. Hurts, he was running all over the field. He was making passes. He looked good, man. So he deserved that Super Bowl MVP, and I'm just happy for that, man. I'm glad he won it, man. And for this to be the last game of the NFL season, man, I enjoyed it. Congrats to Philly on winning the Super Bowl, man. No three-peat. I'm excited. Sorry for all this coughing, man. I told y'all we're going to give it to y'all raw and uncut, no breaks, man. Me and my lady, she's supposed to be getting ready so we can go out for breakfast today for Valentine's Day, but she laying in her bed on TikTok. That's what it looked like. But next we're going to look at the NFL honors, man, and these awards. Just talk about what I think about them. So the first award we're going to look at is the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Of course it went to Jaden Daniels, man. Everybody knew this one wasn't going to be close. Maybe Brock Bowers, but Jaden Daniels, he had an amazing year, man. What he did is unheard of for a rookie. He took the Commanders over the hump, so I believe that this one was well-deserved. Now, the Defensive Rookie of the Year was Jared Verse. Once again, everybody knew who was getting this one, man. He's a good pass rusher. He constantly makes plays that makes him stand out. And he's going to have a great career, man. Now, the next award that confused me was Joe Burrow winning Comeback Player of the Year over J.K. Dobbins and Sam Darnold. Now, he definitely went fed this year. Joe Burrow definitely had an amazing year, but what Sam and J.K. did for their teams this year, you know, nobody expected that from them. They had an amazing season, especially Sam Darnold. He led the Vikings to 15 wins? And Joe Burrow, he's always been good. He gets injured sometimes, but he's always been good. So this one was just a confusion for me. I'm not mad at it. It is what it is, but I didn't expect it. Now, the Vikings head coach, Kevin O'Connell, he ended up winning Coach of the Year, which I'm glad he did. Because he won a lot of games with a lot less than everybody else. And yes, he deserved it over Dan Campbell, because I don't believe Dan Campbell is a good coach, man. Those coordinators that he had helped that team. We're going to see how they look next year. And, of course, Ben Johnson, he swept the board for Assistant Coach of the Year. That's a no-brainer. Everybody knew he was going to win, so we don't even have to talk about that one. And, of course, Saquon, man, he won Offensive Player of the Year in a landslide. And it hurts that he had such an amazing season, man, because Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown, and he wasn't even considered to win Offensive Player of the Year. I really feel bad for Jamar. I like both of them, so it's like, it's comparing apples to oranges. Now, a little head scratcher to me was my Bama boy Pat Surtain winning the Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not surprised. He had a very good year. It just wasn't expected, though, because he's the first corner to win this award since Stephon Gilmore in 2019. Now, I'm telling you, he had an amazing season, and he deserved it. But, the NFL loves to glorify the sack leader, so I'm surprised it wasn't Trey Hendrickson. I almost said Trayvon, man. Now, the last award, the scrutiny of this award show that we're going to talk about is how on God's green earth did Josh Allen win MVP over Lamar Jackson. Lamar beat this guy in every category except rushing touchdowns, and the NFL gave Josh Allen a participation MVP award. I just don't get what is wrong with this league. Why do they hate Lamar so much? Lamar beat Josh Allen head to head. They both won their division, so you can't tell me, Josh Allen had a better record. They both won their divisions. Lamar had a harder strength of schedule. He beat Josh Allen head to head. He had better stats. What they looking at? It's crazy. This is what I don't understand. Lamar is the first. He is the first AP NFL All-Pro first team QB to not win the MVP since like 2008. I didn't even look it up. I was so mad. Since LT won it. I think it was 2008. I don't get why the league hates Lamar so much, but this needs to be investigated, because no way this man did what he did this season and he did not win the MVP. How do you win first team All-Pro, clarifying you as the best QB in the league, and you don't win MVP? It's been a long and good football season. I'm excited to share it with you guys towards the end, man. Next year, hopefully it's better. Hopefully Lamar bounces back from this MVP season that he should have had. And hopefully my Packers look good next year. And hopefully Mahomes and them don't make the playoffs. I'm hating. Clip it. I don't care. I'm hating. And of course, I almost forgot. I hope the Cowboys don't do good either. But, man, that's enough of the NFL, man. It'll be back soon, y'all. Don't wait on it, man. In the meantime, man, we're going to be talking about some of that basketball and some of that baseball, man. I actually love baseball, so that's something I can talk about. It just hasn't been anything going on that side of things. But for the last topic today, man, we're going to talk about the NBA and this trade deadline. It's been some crazy moves. So let's go ahead and talk about them now. One move, man, was Marcus Smart to the Wizards. That was shocking, man. I feel bad for Marcus Smart, man. His career is over. It's over. I love you, Marcus, but it's over, my boy. I just don't. The Wizards are a team you just don't want to go to, man. Winning is not the standard there. Now the next trade, man, we got the Bucks trading the Bucks and the Clippers exchanging players. The Bucks received Kevin Porter Jr. and the Clippers received Marjon Beauchamp. I don't know how to say his last name. Feel like it's a decent trade, just trading a player for a player, man. The Bucks looking for a secondary guard, so it's all right pick. One trade, man, was another one. The Raptors trading the Pacers, man, to receive James Wiseman. Trash. No, we don't even have to talk about that one. It's just no reason. Now another funny trade, which is hilarious to me, is Dennis Schroeder. I before the trade deadline, he said something about like it's like slavery, and he got traded to like 3 teams in like a day. So I feel like the league, they did him wrong. They was trying to prove a point. They were like, boy, don't you ever say nothing about us again. So I don't even know what team. He got traded so many times, y'all. I apologize. I don't even know what team he on at this moment. So I apologize for that one. That one was just funny to me. Now, head scratching trade, man. It looks like the Hawks are cleaning house, man. They ended up trading Bogdanovich to the Clippers to get Terrence Mann and Bones Highland. And I'm in my head, I'm like, are you trying to help Trae Young or are you trying to hurt him? So I see Trae Young leaving soon because they're not doing anything to help him. Another head scratching trade that the Hawks made. They traded DeAndre Hunter, who has been having a career best this season, to the Cavs. The first seed Cavs. The Hawks traded him to the Cavs for Karis LeVert and George Niang. What? What are you doing? Some things I just don't understand. I honestly don't get why they would do that. Now another trade, man, we got Brandon Ingram. I really hate that guy. I can't stand him. We got Brandon Ingram going to the Raptors for the Pelicans to receive Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk. It's a terrible trade for me. I don't really like that trade. I just don't like Brandon Ingram. And now another crazy trade that we have to talk about, man. We got to talk about Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. This was I'm looking at it now, fellas. This was a 5-team trade to send Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. Jimmy went to the Warriors. Andrew Wiggins, he went to the Heat. It's a lot going on, but the biggest thing is Jimmy to the Warriors and Wiggins to the Heat, man. I can't wait to see how Jimmy and Steph look. I don't know how it's gonna look, but hopefully it could be crazy. Who knows? And then another odd crazy. It's not crazy. It was kind of like, was Kyle Kuzma going to the Bucks. I actually like him with the Bucks. I feel like that's gonna be I feel like that's a good fit for him, man. Kyle Kuzma to the Bucks, and then the Wizards, they got Chris Middleton and AJ Johnson. So it's sad to see Chris Middleton's tenure end like that for Milwaukee, but I wonder what Kyle Kuzma's gonna do. Now let's talk about the craziest trade. The craziest trade. The Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers, for Anthony Davis and Max Christie, bro. That trade was so crazy, I had to pinch myself. I thought I was dreaming. They traded a 26-year-old superstar for an injury-prone Anthony Davis? And you talking about because of his conditioning? Bro. Mavs GM Nico Harrison said it was a win-now move. How are you in win-now and y'all just went to the finals last year? What are you talking about? Now, I'm not going to lie. The Mavs team did look good. Starting five would be what? Kyrie, Clay, PJ, AD, and Lively fully healthy. That is a nasty line. I'm not gonna lie, but bro, you don't trade the future like that, bro. You don't. I'm sorry, you don't do it. Luka was so hurt, man, and I'm from Dallas, so my family, my girl's family, my friends, nobody could believe it, man. It was crazy. I'm telling you, crazy. Man, Anthony Davis, they ended up biting the Mavs. Anthony Davis, he had his debut. He was hooping. He ended up getting hurt. Anthony Davis ended up getting hurt in his Mavs debut. He got hurt. So what were you looking for? Why would you trade a superstar for an injury-prone 33-year-old Anthony Davis? It don't make sense. It do not make sense. It don't. LA won this trade, man. Mavs GM Nico Harrison, he got jugged. He doesn't know what he's doing in that office. They need to get him out of there. Lakers won this trade, man. They got the future. A plus trade for the Lakers, man. I'm rattled. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish the episode. Then the Lakers, they ended up making another move because, of course, trading Anthony Davis, you need another big man. So they traded the Hornets, man. They gave the Hornets Dalton Knecht and Cam Reddish for Mark Williams. And everybody know Mark Williams was go. He ain't playing no defense, though. But something happened with Mark Williams' physical. So the trade ended up getting rescinded. So the Lakers, they ended up getting Dalton Knecht and Cam Reddish back. I just thought it was funny because they traded for him. And then the Lakers like, hey, man, there's something wrong with this guy. Y'all take him back. So that's all we got for the NBA trade deadline, man. The next episode will be dropping next Wednesday, at the regular scheduled time, man. Once again, I just want to say happy Valentine's Day. I hope everybody enjoys their day, man. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Thank you for checking me out. I appreciate it. Make sure you share it to family members, share it to some friends, man. And we just gonna get back on that weekly schedule. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day, and I'm out.